So next on our list is to sort out this activity detail page, which clearly needs some work. So let's head back to VS Code. And what we're going to do, I'm just going to open the activity details page. And we're going to get rid of this card and use something much more appealing for our activity details page. But there's going to be several components to this. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a header component, an info component. We're also going to add a chat system to our activity details page as well as a sidebar in there. So let's go ahead and create some additional components. And I'm going to create a new file, and I'm going to call it activity detailed header.tsx. And I'll just use the RAFC, and for now I'm just going to add a h1 and just add the text header. And I'm going to create another component, and this one's going to be called activity detailed info.tsx. And same thing again, just RAFC and add an h1 and just call it info. And I'll add a third component and call it activity detailed chats.tsx. Same again, RAFC, and then I'll just add an h1 tag and call it chat. And finally, we'll just add another component for the sidebar, and I'll call this activity detailed sidebar.tsx. And once again, RAFC, add a h1 and just call this sidebar. So what we're going to do with our activity details page, and let's close down the other things we're not using. And I'll go to the activity details page, and I'm just going to scrap everything inside here. This card can now go. We're not going to use this to display a full page of our activity details. And what we'll use instead is we'll use a grid system to lay out our page. And I'll just bring this in from Semantic UI. And then we'll add two grid columns. I'll add a grid column of width of 10. So I'll say width equals 10. And I'll add another grid column underneath this, and I'll give this a width of 6. And what we'll do inside here is we'll just lay out our page as it's going to be. So we're going to have an activity details header at the top, and below this we'll add our activity detailed info, and below this we'll add our activity detailed chat. And then in the column on the right hand side, which is going to be our column with width of 6, we'll just add our activity detailed sidebar. And I'll just reformat. And if we go take a look at our activity detailed, we can see that we have our layout. And what we'll do is we'll take these new components one at a time, and we'll start with the header, and we'll add the JSX we need to lay out and style our header component. And we'll take a look at that next.